Have you ever noticed that some people just can't stand to see you win? They plot, manipulate, and stab you in the back, but little do they know that every blow they try to land ends up backfiring on them. What no one tells you is that when someone messes with a chosen one, they are unknowingly signing their own downfall. Divine justice is precise and relentless, and those who try to destroy someone protected by God embark on a path with no return. Have you ever noticed how certain people who tried to harm you suddenly started losing everything? That's no coincidence. It's the universe's response. In this video, I'm going to reveal something that will change your perspective on what's happening to you. Stay until the end, because you'll understand why no one can stop you and how God's hand is working. Behind the scenes. Comment below. Have you ever seen someone fall for trying to take you down? What happened? Let's expose this truth together. The spiritual protection of a chosen one transcends human logic. While others worry about external influences, the chosen walk under an invisible shield, a force that repels any attack. Those who try to harm them often don't realize they are sealing their own downfall. The universe, governed by unchanging laws, ensures that justice is served, and any action against someone protected by God comes back with multiplied force. It's like throwing a stone into the air and forgetting that it will fall back down, and almost always with greater impact. The attempt to destroy a chosen one ironically becomes the reason for the destroyer's own downfall. There are countless stories of people who, out of envy or resentment, tried to block the path of someone protected and suddenly saw their own lives crumble. They lost jobs, relationships, mental health, everything, without understanding the true root of their problems. But those who know divine justice understand nothing happens by chance. What seemed like a direct hit against a chosen one was actually the trigger for the attacker's own fall. This mechanism isn't just a matter of faith, it's an energetic law. When someone sends out negativity, that energy doesn't disappear, it has to go somewhere. If the chosen one is protected, the energy finds no entry point and returns to the sender with even greater force. This explains why some people, consumed by the desire for revenge or control, end up trapped in a cycle of self-destruction. They think they're winning, but in reality, they are digging their own graves without realizing it. The most incredible part is that the chosen don't even have to lift a finger. The protection surrounding them works automatically, like a divine reflex that prevents injustice from prospering. That's why, no matter how many schemes are plotted against them, everything falls apart before it can do any harm. And for those who insist on challenging this force, the outcome is always the same, a path of losses, frustrations, and regrets. But this is just the beginning, because karma also has its own way of acting. Karma never fails, and for the unjust, it is ruthless. Every action creates a reaction, and those who conspire against a chosen one inevitably face the consequences of their own actions. Statistics might show that 92% of people who scheme against others end up paying a high price. But when it comes to those protected by God, that rate rises to 100%. This happens because there is a greater force at play, a divine mechanism that ensures nothing goes unnoticed. It may take time, but the bill always comes due. Many people who act with malice believe they will never be caught or punished. They play dirty, betray, lie, and set traps, thinking they will get away with it. However, the universe acts as a great judge, recording every action and returning exactly what was sent out. If someone tries to destroy a chosen one, sooner or later, they will face unexpected problems. Doors close, opportunities disappear, and life begins to fall apart without any apparent explanation. But this isn't coincidence. It's the inevitable response of spiritual laws. It's not uncommon to hear stories of people who, out of envy or arrogance, tried to harm someone protected by God and ended up losing everything. Companies that sabotaged loyal employees went bankrupt. Fake friends who plotted behind backs ended up isolated. And even families that rejected a chosen one suffered irreparable divisions. Karma acts with surgical precision, striking exactly where it hurts the most. And the most interesting part, the chosen one often doesn't even know what was happening. Energy is never lost. It only transforms and returns to its origin. When someone sends negativity toward a chosen one, that energy doesn't just disappear, it finds its way back, only multiplied. This is the mirror effect, a spiritual phenomenon that ensures everything sent out returns 10 times stronger. Those who wish harm upon someone protected by God are actually sealing their own fate. The more hatred and envy they pour out, the faster they fall into their own traps. Have you noticed how some people, obsessed with harming others, suddenly start seeing their lives fall apart? Projects fail, financial problems arise, sudden illnesses appear, unexpected betrayals happen. Everything starts going wrong. That's because the energy they sent out has returned to them with interest. The chosen one, being protected, doesn't absorb that negativity. And since nature doesn't allow vacuums, the energy must go back to its sender. That's why those who insist on attacking someone spiritually shielded end up reaping storms. A classic example of this is people who spread lies and slander about a chosen one. At first, it might seem like they're winning, that their words are having an effect, but over time, everything turns against them. The truth comes out, their credibility crumbles, and they become victims of their own words. It's like throwing dirt into the wind. Sooner or later, it all comes back to the one who threw it. The mirror effect never fails, and divine justice ensures that every action is returned with multiplied intensity. What's most astonishing is that this backlash can come in unexpected ways. Often, those who sow destruction end up losing what they love most: peace, family, stability, dreams. The energy that returns doesn't just strike in one area, it hits where it hurts the most. This proves that no one can play with spiritual laws without paying the price. And when God's justice takes action, there is no escape. God's justice is precise and ruthless. When someone rises against a chosen one, they may think they are in control, but in reality, they have already signed their own sentence. Every treacherous plan, every malicious word, every act of injustice creates a domino effect that inevitably leads to ruin. The interesting thing is that this justice does not act in an obvious or immediate way. It operates with surgical precision, dismantling the oppressor's life little by little until nothing remains but regret. Many people believe they can escape the consequences of their actions. They play dirty, manipulate, set traps, and at first it may seem like they are winning. But suddenly, everything starts to go wrong. Friends drift away, doors close, unexpected problems arise, and what once seemed certain turns into despair. This isn't bad luck, it's not coincidence, it's divine justice at work. God is never in a hurry. He acts at the right time, in the exact moment when the fall will be the most impactful. Cases like this are everywhere. People who tried to destroy the reputation of a chosen one and ended up exposed. Leaders who abused their power and lost everything. Overnight, enemies who plotted evil schemes and were caught in their own traps. Divine judgment never fails, and the cruelest thing for the oppressor is realizing too late that their downfall was built by their own hands. Every lie told, every betrayal committed, every wicked act is another brick in the structure of their own destruction. The worst punishment is not just losing wealth or status, but feeling firsthand the weight of one's own mistakes. God's justice does not merely punish, it teaches. It forces the unjust to look at themselves and recognize the chaos they have created. And the most incredible part, this process is only just beginning, because the chosen ones are not only protected, but they also possess something even more powerful: an unbreakable spiritual armor. The chosen ones do not walk unprotected. Over them exists an unbreakable spiritual armor, an invisible shield that blocks any attack before it even gets close. This protection cannot be broken by envy, manipulation, or witchcraft. It is a divine force field that repels all negativity. Those who try to harm a chosen one soon realize that their efforts are futile. The evil they send not only fails to reach its target, but often returns to them with a force they cannot contain. Many have tried to challenge this protection, believing they could manipulate or weaken a chosen one. But the result is always the same. Their plans are frustrated, their intentions exposed, and in the end, all they achieve is their own downfall. This is because this armor does not rely on human strength, but on a much greater source. Those under this protection may feel the storm forming around them, but they will never be destroyed by it. God shields his chosen ones in a way that no attack can prosper. This spiritual shield works so powerfully that even emotional and psychological attacks are neutralized. Those who try to humiliate, manipulate, or destabilize a chosen one end up frustrated because their inner peace cannot be shaken so easily. That's why some people don't understand how a protected one keeps moving forward, even after countless attempts to bring them down. The secret lies in this invisible armor, which acts as an impenetrable fortress against any form of destruction. But ironically, what ultimately destroys those who try to attack a chosen one is not just this protective barrier. It's their own obsession with breaking it. Many completely lose themselves in their attempt to bring down someone protected by God, and in the process, they end up destroying themselves. The obsession with destroying a chosen one is a fatal trap. Those consumed by this desire don't realize that they are actually digging their own grave. At first, they may think they are in control, crafting plans and manipulating situations. But the truth is that the more they try to bring down someone protected by God, the faster they sink into their own destruction. This happens because the energy that fuels this obsession consumes everything around them: relationships, mental health, stability, and even sanity. There are countless examples of this. People who spent their lives trying to sabotage a chosen one and, in the end, lost everything they had. Bosses who persecuted loyal employees and ended up disgraced. Friends who plotted behind someone's back and ended up isolated with no one left to trust. Their obsession blinded them, causing them to put all their energy into a war they could never win. And when they finally realized what they had done, it was too late. They were surrounded only by the wreckage of their own downfall. The most terrifying part is that the more they try to hurt a chosen one, the more their own lives fall apart. This self-destruction doesn't just happen externally. It reaches deep into the mind and soul. Hatred and envy corrode inner peace, turning the heart into a battlefield and stripping away all joy in life. Those who focus too much on someone else's life forget to take care of their own, and by the time they realize it, they are alone, destroyed, and without a way out. And that is when God acts with even greater precision. He not only protects the chosen ones, but also sets perfect traps for the wicked, placing them in situations where their own mistakes are revealed and their true intentions are exposed. And when that moment arrives, there is no turning back. Divine justice does not just protect the chosen ones, it exposes and destroys their enemies in a ruthless manner. God sets the perfect trap for those who try to harm his protected ones, and the most astonishing part is that the wicked don't even realize they are walking into it. They think they are winning, that their plans are working, that they are in control. But in reality, they are only walking toward their own downfall, stepping exactly where God wants them to. How many times have we seen people who seemed untouchable, plotting against others, but suddenly they were exposed? Authoritarian bosses who lost everything, traitors who were unmasked, fake friends whose true intentions were revealed at the most humiliating moment possible. This does not happen by chance. Divine justice works in silence, allowing oppressors to move forward until they reach a point where there is no escape. And when the trap finally closes, there is no way out. The most ironic part is that many times, the chosen ones don't even need to do anything. They simply continue on their path while God works behind the scenes. Their enemy's own actions turn against them. The liar gets caught in their own lies. The envious one loses everything they wish to take from another, and the manipulator gets entangled in their own web. The fall is brutal and the worst. Punishment is watching everything they built collapse before their eyes, unable to stop it. And the most surprising part? Even after their downfall, many still try to escape the consequences. But there's no use running, because divine timing always ensures that justice is served at the right moment. And when that moment comes, there are no excuses, no second chances, only the inevitable weight of what was sown. God's timing never fails, and his justice is never late. It only waits for the perfect moment. While the unjust believe they are free from consequences, the divine clock keeps ticking, preparing the exact instant for retribution. Many think they will escape unscathed, simply because they haven't yet suffered the consequences of their actions. But what they fail to realize is that God does not act on impulse. He waits for the moment of greatest impact, the one where the lesson will be so profound that it cannot be ignored. This divine timing may be silent, but it is infallible. At first, those who scheme against a chosen one seem to prosper, laughing at the harm they've caused. They think they have won, that no one noticed their actions. But little by little, the scene begins to shift. People drift away, opportunities disappear, problems arise out of nowhere. Small cracks start forming until one day, everything collapses. And when they finally realize what's happening, there is no turning back. God's justice acts with precision. Sometimes it comes through public exposure, other times through the loss of what a person valued most. For some, it's the departure of loved ones. For others, financial ruin or the destruction of their reputation. But what they all have in common is the certainty that the punishment came because of something they did. And that awareness, many times, is the greatest punishment of all. Knowing that they planted their own downfall and have no one to blame but themselves. And for the chosen ones, this justice is a reminder that their protection was never in vain. Divine timing may seem slow, but it is absolute. It allows every piece to fall into place before the final outcome. And while the unjust reap what they have sown, the chosen ones move forward, because their mission is not just to survive, it is to transform everything around them, bringing light where there was once only darkness. The chosen ones are not just protected, they are agents of transformation. Their presence, often without them even realizing it, exposes the truth, reveals hidden intentions, and forces those around them to confront their own shadows. This happens because they carry a unique energy, a light that illuminates what was once hidden. Where there is deception, truth is revealed. Where there is injustice, balance is restored. And for many, this revelation is unbearable. They either choose to change or begin an irreversible process of self-destruction. This is why some people, for no apparent reason, feel uneasy in the presence of a chosen one. They don't need to say anything. They don't need to accuse anyone. Their mere existence is already proof that something is wrong. This explains why the chosen often inspire either deep love or intense hatred. Those aligned with truth feel uplifted. Those living in deception feel threatened. And this discomfort can lead to transformation, but it can also create even more resistance and envy. Many times the chosen ones are attacked not because they have done anything wrong, but because their presence forces others to look at themselves. People who live in dishonesty, manipulation, and selfishness feel exposed when confronted with the purity of someone protected by God. And instead of using that moment to grow, they choose the easier path, trying to destroy the source of their discomfort. But as we have seen, that never ends well. Those who try to extinguish the light of a chosen one only end up sinking deeper into their own darkness. And this is why those who attempt to manipulate or harm a chosen one are not just fighting against a person. They are challenging God's divine will. It is a battle they have already lost before it even begins, because the force protecting the chosen ones is simply unstoppable. And when this force manifests, there is nothing that can be done. The power that protects the chosen ones is something no human force can challenge. Those who attempt to manipulate, destroy, or harm someone protected by God are not just confronting an individual, they are waging war against an immutable spiritual order. And this is a battle they have already lost. No matter how hard they try, no matter what traps they set, in the end, everything turns against them. Because they are not just trying to take down a chosen one, they are fighting against a divine purpose. Throughout history, countless chosen ones have been persecuted, betrayed, and wronged. But what happened to those who tried to destroy them? One by one, they fell. The great minds, the spiritual leaders, the messengers of truth, all faced resistance. But none of them were truly defeated, because the force guiding them was greater than any human attack. Those who rise against a chosen one may think they are winning for a time, but in the end, their defeat is inevitable. This power is unstoppable because it does not come from earthly efforts. It does not rely on money, status, or influence. It comes directly from the supreme source, and those who carry this protection can walk through storms without being destroyed. The chosen ones face trials, but they are never broken. They fall, but they always rise stronger. They are tested, but never abandoned, and every attack they endure only strengthens the purpose they carry. That is why those who try to stop a chosen one are not just making an enemy, they are signing their own defeat. Because history always repeats itself. The oppressors fall, while the chosen ones move forward, unshaken, and the only choice left for their enemies is to accept the truth or suffer the consequences. In the end, divine justice always prevails, and nothing can change that. Now you understand, no one can touch a chosen one without suffering the consequences. Divine justice never fails, and those who try to harm you are actually destroying themselves. Time may seem slow, but when the response comes, it arrives with full force. And now, I ask you, have you noticed this protection working in your life? Have you seen someone who tried to harm you end up paying the price? Comment below. I want to hear your experience. Let's strengthen this community of chosen ones. And don't forget, if this video resonated with you, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Here, you'll always find the truths no one else dares to speak.